Hello, friends. It is your favorite Scrum Master here, Anna Bangham. And if I'm not your favorite Scrum Master yet, don't worry about it. I got you because by the time I'm done sharing this new information with you, you're going to love me. Okay. So today's discussion, I really want to introduce you guys to this role that I've done in the past. I don't think that there's enough visibility to it. And I think that I just want to be able to bring this visibility so that you can at least have understanding of how you can get there if you want to, or if this is something that might be appealing to you to look more into. So I will say my experience as a Scrum Master is really aligned to the Scrum at Scale model. Okay, so if you're not aware of what the Scrum at Scale is, I would say do some research on your own. I really don't have time right now to share that information, but I will tell you that there is something called Scrum at Scale. It is one of the agile frameworks. And I think it was coined in 2017. It's mostly used for startup. I've seen mostly startup companies that actually utilize this framework because I think it works directly to what they're trying to do. So I will share this, right? From my experience, this was some of the things that I did while I was a Scrum Master. All right. This role is not for the weak. I will say this. But I was able to identify the different role, this same role throughout the different frameworks within Agile. So in Scrum, this role would be an Agile coach role. In SIF, this role would be an RTE role. And of course, a Scrum at Skill, this is Scrum Master. That's the role. That's the name of the role that we have. So this role, typically, if somebody who has this role should only be doing this role itself because it comes with its own events that you would need to facilitate from I guess like program level. So what happened to me was a very unique experience, which I will share, that I was assigned to be a Scrum Master. However, I was given two Scrum teams at the same time, right? So I had two Scrum teams. In addition to this, I had a role as a Scrum Master, and I also had a chief product owner that I was working with. So imagine having 5 events here, 5 events here. That's already 10 events in 2 weeks. In addition to that, bi-weekly, I would have 1, 2, 3, and then weekly I have this event, right? So my calendar was booked. Sometimes I missed my lunch. Sometimes I was done. The chief product owner was in California, so like the 3 hours difference. Sometimes I don't get done at work till like 7 p.m. So I will say I didn't miss this role, but I learned the most that I learned a lot within this role. I learned to find my voice, to find my own executive presence in a crowd. Um, I will share some of my experience that I've encountered while I was in some of the meetings, depending on what meeting it was. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and explain. So I already told you guys that I had two Scrum teams. These two Scrum team have one product owner, and I had a chief product owner as well. So with the chief product owner, we would have a Scrum of Scrum event here. The Scrum of Scrum event essentially is for all the teams. So there were 6 teams in that meta. By the way, so a meta essentially is a cluster of teams, right? So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams that was in that meta. So that the chief product owner and I was responsible for that meta. Whatever the team needed, that's what we were supposed to be there to support them, just like a regular Scrum team would, or a Scrum Master, a product owner would with a regular Scrum team. Okay. So we had that responsibility. Aside from that, I was leading a Scrum of Scrum, right? The Scrum of Scrum is when these teams are done with their stand-up and they had impediments that was beyond their reach to resolve, they would come to the Scrum of Scrum event and just share that and share what it was. And then I would bring it back to the executive action team, which happened, I think it happened daily. Most of the time, the senior VP and senior leadership was at this event, right? So what it means was I needed to be really articulate to what the need was, right? What impediment that was beyond my team. So we had to be resolving impediment based on the level of risk, right? So is it risk to culture? Is it risk to delivery? Like we had to be really particular and specific to what it is that we're bringing attention to, because the senior leadership, they don't have time to sit there and deep dive. And sometimes when I didn't quite understand, I don't feel like I would be able to articulate it. I just bring a team member who knew a little bit more than what I was trying to share. Just wanted to put that out there. Aside from the meeting that we have daily, I also had meta meeting, which is the planning for the meta. So it means all of these product owners and Scrum Masters will come together and plan. We will plan before the sprint planning happened for the individual teams. So essentially, those product owners are going to get their direction from this plan. They just get the direction there, but like if other teams had put dependencies or stories on the joint board that they shared in each other's backlog, right? We had one shared backlog. All the product owners were there. If I had something for another person, I'll put it on their name and then be able to discuss, the need, the urgency of it, and we would then now the product owner and Scrum Master would transfer it to the board for them to talk through it, and plan it. Okay, so that's what used to happen to draft that conversation before we even get to our own team level planning. Once that is done, we went ahead and, we would have a meta review. Like everybody within that meta will come. We invite stakeholders outside for that meta. So there was like, I want to say 6 other metas in the organization. So anybody that had stake in the work that we were doing, we attend that meta. So we used to have 125 people on call, and I was leading that. I will tell you that you learn to have executive presence in the midst of uncertainty, right? Because yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So we do a demo each team. I will reach out to each of those team, the Scrum Master and PO to just understand, send out the Confluence link for them to put their stuff before the meeting. I ensure that everything was where it needs to be. At the meeting, the product owners were the one responsible for driving that. And in addition to that, their team, right? Then we have a meta retrospective. This meta retrospective, it wasn't bi-weekly. I would say it was once every 3 weeks because the team wanted to offset it. So those are the responsibilities that I had aside from the 2 teams that I had that I was working on. So I had long days. I cannot express this, but I'm happy that it happened because I got to experience something that I would have never experienced any other way. Okay. So what I will say is that you need to be able to identify the similarities and differences that you see with these different frameworks. Because now in the organization that I initially left, I came back, they're doing Scrum at scale, and now I already have this add-on skill set that I can be able to help them to transition to the model that they're seeking for. So it's just always important for you to be flexible and open to learning because there's so much information out there. Being a Scrum Master is not just it, right? I would definitely encourage you and would say try new roles. Don't get stuck in the Scrum Master role. There's just so many other opportunities that's out there is going to push you and challenge you to become the Scrum Master that you want to be. So don't be just comfortable with what you know and what you have, but definitely explore. I'm happy to share. I will say that in one of these teams, I was able to, because it was a production team, I was able to help transition them to Kanban, and I will definitely have another video to share how I've done that, and it was so I did a non-software team, and transitioned them to it was still production, but it was non-software team. Just wanted to call that out, to help transition them into Kanban. And they started using Scrumban and they loved it. Delivery was on this. The issues we used to experience was no longer there. But I will save that for another video to share what the experience was. I just wanted to share this information so that you can be informed and know that there's a lot more out there besides being a Scrum Master. There's a Scrum Master, and Scrum at Scale. There's Scrum, there's Agile Coach, right? Scrum Agile coach, and then Safe RTE, right? Those are the next levels that you, as Scrum Master, naturally will progress into. However, there's a lot, like once you're a Scrum Master, you can do a lot more, right? So don't just restrict yourself to what you know and what you've heard, but expand it. The word is yours, so take it as you see it. All right, have a good one. Thank you. I hope this was insightful. If you have any questions, leave comment below, like, share, and of course, let's continue to empower each other with this knowledge. Have a good one. Bye.